I want to ask you something, and I need you to really sit with this, not just nod and keep scrolling. Think about the last time you built something, not a spreadsheet, not a deck, not a response to someone else's agenda, something that was yours, something that came from inside of you, something that when you step back and looked at it, you thought to yourself, wow, I made that. I really want you to just sit with that for a moment and think about, when was that? Here is what nobody is telling you about burnout. It does not just take your energy, it, it takes your access to yourself. It takes everything from you in layers. When your nervous system is in chronic overdrive, when your body has been running on cortisol and adrenaline for months or for even years, something very specific happens in our brains. The prefrontal cortex, the part that is responsible for creativity, strategic thinking, problem solving, and the ability to imagine a future different than what is in your present moment, goes offline. And we don't understand this. This is not a metaphor. This is neuroscience. When threat response takes over, and for burned out entrepreneurs and women who have that threat response is running 24 hours a day, your brain physically redirects blood flow and resources away from creative, visionary, purposeful parts of you and towards pure survival. You stop being a builder and you become a firefighter. You are just in so survival mode. And here's the devastating part: you still show up, you still produce, you still deliver, but you are doing it from the wrong part of your brain. You are building with tools you cannot fully feel anymore. Whew. This is what we are here fixing today. The bridge from the park bench to the workbench. And if you did not watch that video, I will put the link in the bio. In the last video, we talked about going to the park bench, the place where you stop, where you sit with yourself, where you get honest, maybe for the first time in a long time, about what you actually want. And the park bench is where you remember the dream. The workbench is where you build it. And we're going to work on the workbench next. But here's the thing about the workbench. The workbench without the right tools is just a flat surface. And the first thing I need you to understand today, the thing I need you to write down and tape to your bathroom mirror and say out loud until you believe it with every fiber of your being: you already have the tools. You weren't born empty, right? You weren't born without instinct, without wisdom, without capacity to build something remarkable. You were born with it all. Burnout did not destroy your tools. It buried them. And that is a very different problem, because buried things can be found, right? Last week, last year, so long ago, you have to think about it. If you have to think about it, this video is for you. And here's the deal. A workbench is where a craftsman does their most deliberate work. It's not where they rush. It's not where they react. It's not where they answer emails or put out fires or perform for an audience, right? A workbench is where they build and they craft slowly, intentionally, with their full attention on the thing in front of them. In the burn bench framework that I have created, the workbench is the second phase of the journey. You sat at the park bench and you got honest. You wrote down what you wanted. You let yourself dream without editing it. Now you come to the workbench. And at the workbench, we do three things. We take inventory of your tools. We clear the workbench of everything that does not belong there. We start building one deliberate piece at a time. The first tool on your workbench is your body. And before you skip past that, before you think this is about eating more vegetables or going to bed earlier, I need you to hear me on this. Your body is not a vehicle for your brain. Your body is the instrument. Every decision you make, every relationship you build, every idea you generate, every dollar you earn, all of it runs through a physical system that is either in your corner or working against you. When your gut is inflamed, your thinking is foggy. When your cortisol is dysregulated, your decision making is compromised. When your hormones are out of balance, your energy, your mood, your confidence, all of it shifts. This is not soft science. This is the psychology of performance. Your body is the most important business tool you have. And most entrepreneurs are trying to build an empire with a broken instrument. They have never, ever tuned. Your belief system is number two. That is tool number two. The second tool is your belief system, okay? And this one stops most people cold because most of us have never actually examined any of it. We inherited beliefs about money, about what we deserve, about what is possible for someone like us, or whether rest is allowed before the work is done, and the work is never done. Cognitive behavior psychology has a name for this, the thoughts that run in the background of our mind without your conscious permission. They are called automatic thoughts. And here is what the research says about them. Despite what we keep running through our head, they are not facts. They feel like facts. They sound like facts. They have the confidence of facts. But they are just old software running on hardware you have outgrown. On the workbench, we look at the software, we name it, we test it against the actual evidence, and then carefully, deliberately, we rewrite it. Not who you were told you were, who you actually are. The third tool is your purpose. And I do not mean your mission statement. I do not even mean your elevator pitch or your LinkedIn headline or the answer you give at networking events. Okay. I mean the thing underneath all of that. The reason you started before the revenue targets, before the team, before the scaling, the systems, the strategy, before all of that, there was a moment when you decided, when you looked at why you existed in the world and what you thought, I can do something with it about this. That moment is still in you. Burnout buried it. Urgency covered it. Survival mode told you it was a luxury you could not afford. But it is still there. And when you reconnect to it, when you bring it to the workbench and let it guide the building, everything changes. The decisions become clearer. The boundaries become easier. The work becomes not easy, but meaningful. And meaningful work sustains you in a way that motivated work never can. Clearing the workbench before you can build anything new. You have to clear the workbench of everything that does not belong there. And I'm going to be direct with you about what I mean. The workbench does not have room for other people's definitions of success. It does not have room for the metrics that measure everyone else's progress, but have nothing to do with your life. It does not have room for the 47 tabs you have open, the programs you bought and never started, the strategies that work for someone else and never quite fit you. Great. Clearing the workbench is not quitting. It is precision. It is the master craftsman saying, I only pick up the tools I actually need. Everything else is clutter. And clutter on a workbench is how you build the wrong thing. I want you to picture something with me for a moment. Picture a craftsman, okay? Early morning, the light is coming through the window, the workshop is quiet. They walk to the workbench, they lay out their tools, they look at what they're building, and they begin. Not urgently, not frantically, not because someone is watching or measuring or waiting for them to fail. They begin because this is what they do. Because they are a builder. Aren't we all builders? That is you, right? We are all here to create. You are a builder and you're here to craft your own life. You have always been a builder. The burnout convinced you otherwise. The exhaustion made you doubt it. The years of running on empty made you forget what it felt like to build from a full tank. But the tools are still here. The workbench is here, and so are you. You were built for this. It is a time to remember that. Before you close this video, I want you to do one thing. Go somewhere quiet, not your office, not your phone. Sit down with a pen and a piece of paper and write down the answer to this question. What am I actually trying to build? Not what are you supposed to build, not what makes the most business sense, not what everyone else in your industry is building. What are you, the real you, the one who sat at the park bench and got honest, actually trying to build? Write it down, all of it, without editing, without making it reasonable. That answer is your workbench. Everything else gets built on top of it. Really think about that for a moment. Now, here's what I want you to do. One ask. Next week on this channel, we go to the gym bench. The park bench is where you dream. The workbench is where you design. The gym bench is where you build the strength to carry what you've designed. Subscribe so you do not miss it. Hit the notification button, hit the like button, and if this video landed for you, if something in here felt true, come find us at Burns Bench. The free community is in the description below for the Burns Bench community page. Real conversation, real science, no performance required. I'll see you at the bench.